The 4th of July at Bank One Ballpark in Arizona. Skipper Tony La Russa has a roster that's loaded with all-stars. Albert Pujols, David Eckstein, Scott Rowland, Jim Edmonds. He could be your starter, Chris Carpenter. And the closer, Jason Isringhausen. It's the final road trip of the first half as Matt Morris goes for win number 10. Cards and Diamondbacks next, Game 1 on FSN Midwest. We are in Arizona in Bank One Ballpark, where the Diamondbacks will play host in Game 1 of a 4-game set to the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals will send 6 players to the All-Star game. The Diamondbacks just won his 5th All-Star game appearance, Luis Gonzalez, the left fielder for Arizona. Happy 4th of July with my partner, Al Hrabosky. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Great to have you with us. And, you know, Tony La Russa had some tough choices, but he's got 6 players himself, a coaching staff, medical staff, George Kissel. So the Cardinals will be well represented next week in Detroit.
And rightfully so. They were the best team in the National League last year. Many people think these are the nucleus of the best team in the National League this year, and why not? Go out there and reward these guys. As far as I'm concerned, we wish we had several more choices.
Now, one of the interesting questions for Tony La Russa will be, who will be that starter? And it looks like it could unfold very nicely for Chris Carpenter.
Well, they're going to hold it back. You know, Dontrelle Willis threw another shutout again yesterday, so you've got to give him a lot of consideration. But I think Carpenter will be in this game at some point. All-Star
game at Comerica Park next week. That will be on Fox in high definition. But we're talking about Game 1 of this 4-game set when we come back to Bank One Ballpark. The Diamondbacks much improved this season. How much better? We'll find out next. Al will visit with Mark Grace, their color commentator, up next.
Back to Bank One Ballpark. Mark Grace, this ball club has really made a change from last season.
Well, you know what the difference is this year, Al, is there's actually 25 big leaguers on the Arizona Diamondbacks this year. Last year, through either injuries or house cleaning, it was basically a lot of AA and AAA players up here. They made a lot of changes, saved a lot of money, and put a much more talented baseball team on the field this year.
Good April and May, struggled in June.
Big struggle in June. The entire National League West got it handed to them by the American League Central, and on down the line from the Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers. The best team in the West was the Rockies. Go figure. But it's back to the National League now, more comfort zone, and the Diamondbacks just coming off two wins in a row in Dodger Stadium. So you never know with these guys. It's just been up and down.
All right, thank you, Mark. And Brandon Webb is an outstanding pitcher. He'll be opposed by Matt Morris. When we come back, we'll take a look at Matt Morris a year ago.
Back in Arizona, the St. Louis Cardinals begin play tonight. 21 games above the 500 mark. The Diamondbacks just a game under 500. Matt Morris on the road. He was 6-6 a year ago. How about this season in our Ford Key matchup? Already 5-0 and looking for double figures in his win total tonight. He's trying to improve to 10-1. Baseball is coming up next. Into Bank One Ballpark in Arizona. Happy 4th of July with my partner Al Hrabosky. I'm Dan McLaughlin and our Bud Sports crew. We welcome you to Game 1 of this 4-game set. The St. Louis Cardinals, one of the better road teams in all of the major leagues. We'll finish out the first half on the road. A look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. David Eckstein, followed by Jim Edmonds, Albert Pujols. Larry Walker will bat cleanup. Then Scott Rowland, John Mabry, Mark Gritzelanek. He is in there once again for St. Louis. Yadier Molina behind the plate, batting 8th. Matt Morris on the mound and batting 9th. A sinker baller, one of the best in baseball, Brandon Webb, a right-hander, getting the start for Arizona. And the first pitch to David Eckstein is a strike. Look at the numbers for Brandon Webb. They're brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. He's 3-2 here at home, 5-2 on the road. Another sinker ball. Catches the outside corner, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
And you touched on it. He has an outstanding sinker, and you can throw that almost exclusively.
Pitch in the dirt, 1-2 on David Eckstein. Congratulations to David, headed to his first All-Star game. He said he's only going to have about 8 family and friends there. That's it. I said, why not more? He said, that's all I can muster up. Eckstein retired. And that's out number 1. The defense behind Webb Brought to you by Auto Tire. There's their lone representative for the All-Star game, Luis Gonzalez. 5th time he's headed there. Gonzalez, Cruz, and Green in the outfield. Gloss, Clayton, Counsell, Tracy on the infield, and Chris Snyder is behind the plate. Defense is much improved with this team, and that certainly is a key when you talk about Brandon Webb. He's got to have good defense behind him. He pitches to contact and throws a ton of ground balls. Another grounder. That's a fair ball off the plate. Edmonds is out, number 2. So 2 batters and 2 ground ball outs.
And I don't know if it's fair or not, but I hope Jason Marquis watches Brandon Webb and sees that he almost is exclusively sinker after sinker after sinker. Occasional changeup, maybe occasional breaking ball, but I think Marquis has the same type of sinker. He could have the same type of success.
Albert Pujols hitting .342, 21 home runs, and 66 RBIs. Second in batting average behind Derek Lee. He's hitting .383. And Derek Lee gets more votes than Albert Pujols at first base, and Pujols conceded the fact that Lee very well might be having a better season than he is, but still, what a great year already for Albert. 5th in home runs and 3rd in RBIs.
I don't think anybody's going to complain that Albert was selected by Tony La Russa, or probably wasn't even selected by Tony La Russa, selected by the players and coaches.
Right. Still 1 more to go for each side.
Brandon Webb could be that representative for the National League.
5 players or 5 pitchers, but that combination of just 5 is up for grabs on the internet. You can vote at MLB.com.
Yes, 5 pitchers in the National League and 5 position or outfielders for the American League.
They've got 1 infielder. It's Derek Jeter.
That's right.
Strikeout of Pujols. Good start for Brandon Webb. Arizona lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Counsell, Tracy, and Gonzalez here in the first. Sean Green, the former Dodger, will bat cleanup. Troy Glaus, the former Angel. Then Jose Cruz Jr., Royce Clayton, former Cardinal, Chris Snyder, and Brandon Webb, your Southwest Airlines starting lineup. On the mound for St. Louis, trying to make it a 10-1 start to his season, is Matt Morris, and his numbers brought to you by Rico.
Numbers just so much better. 2-0 in his career here at the Bob. But healthy, going out there attacking people. 96 wins. 17th the all-time list.
Is 4 away from 100 for Matt Morris in his career. Here's Craig Counsell back in Arizona, and he looks at his strike. We could see a ton of ground balls here today with these 2 pitchers, Morris and Webb. And Webb was very effective in that first inning, striking out Pujols and then getting 2 groundouts of Edmonds and Eckstein. Quickly, it's 0-2 on Craig Counsell.
Good start for Matt as he's attacking. Both these pitchers kind of right on. The Arizona Ball Club had to play last night in Los Angeles. Didn't arrive back here in Arizona until about 2 a.m.
0-2 pitch, curveball. Good play by Morris, leaping to make the catch, and that's the first out. Jim Edmonds headed to the All-Star game once again. 7-time Gold Glover. The Auto Tire defense with Edmonds in center, Mabry in left, and Larry Walker in right. Scott Rowland, David Eckstein, Gritzelanek, and Albert Pujols on the infield. Molina's the catcher today. The Auto Tire defense behind Matt Morris. Good play by Matt Morris defensively. And it brings in Chad Tracy. He's 10th in the National League against right-handed pitching, hitting nearly .330. And overall hitting .312 with 10 home runs and 34 RBIs.
Did a nice job last year as their 3rd baseman. And then with Troy Glaus, he moves over to first.
Curveball is pulled foul. Tracy's bat last year kept him in the lineup. He had .285 with 8 home runs and 53 RBIs. But really struggled with the glove, so they move him from 3rd to 1st. Make way for Troy Glaus.
He was Arizona's Rookie of the Year. Voted on by the local writers.
A strikeout at Tracy. Good start here for Morris. Matt Morris has been fun to watch, Al. This has been the Matt Morris of old. He doesn't have that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but as you see in his last start against the Reds, he got it through 7 innings. But many believe he's a better pitcher this year than maybe he ever has been because he's learned how to pitch. more so than just getting away with stuff down the middle at 95, 96 miles an hour.
You sit there and you talk about it as, you know, about 70% all last season. He learned how to retire left-handed batters, develop that cutter coming in on them. But he's back to where he can extend and get the good downward action on his sinker. He can roll up that breaking ball off 12-6. And you can almost tell just by his mannerisms how he feels about himself, just the way he presents himself in a very positive fashion when he's on the mound. Get the ball, throw the ball, and attack hitters.
1-1 pitch to Gonzo. A strike. Gonzalez thought it was a little high, shaking his head. He steps out of the box, and it's a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Very patient hitter is Luis Gonzalez, and it's tough to get a pattern against him. Jammed on that pitch and pops it up. And a 1-2-3 first inning for Matt Morris. Second inning coming up, and there's no score from Arizona. Innings in the National League Central Division, the Cardinals have opened up their biggest lead so far at 10.5 games. 10.5 in front of Chicago, 12.5 in front of Houston. They're playing much better as of late. 13 back are the Milwaukee Brewers. Then Pittsburgh 15.5 games out. The Reds are 20 back. NL Central standings brought to you by Jack in the Box. Here we are on the 4th of July, and the St. Louis Cardinals out in front by 10.5 games. Here's Walker, smokes it into right center field. That's trouble, and that ball is off the top of the wall. Larry Walker starts things off with a double here in the second. Nice, compact, smooth swing there from Larry.
Better than 400 feet and high on the wall, where a fan reaches down and try to catch it right below the yellow line. So that ball was just smashed. It's 407 to dead center. It's 413 into right center, and that ball was probably 410 and 30 feet up in the air.
That's a good poke out there. That's 407 to center, like you said, Alan. Then the wall is much higher than most walls we see for a park that is fair. I mean, it's 413 to right center, 413 to left center, and that wall is 28 feet high.
So my 30-foot guess wasn't bad.
That's not bad at all. Leadoff double for Larry Walker, and here's Scott Rowland. Scotty telling me the other day that he finally has felt comfortable in the box as far as health-wise when he's swinging the bat, that the pain has subsided and that he can start being a little bit more aggressive at the plate.
He was 5 for 12 in the most recent series at home.
And looks at ball number 2, 2-0 on Rowland. Arizona with a record of 41-42, and the Diamondbacks are only 4.5 games out in the National League West Division. I mean, what a turnaround from a year ago. Team that was terrible, and as Mark Grace was telling us on our pregame, your interview, Al, during our open, I mean, this is a team that was playing with AA guys and AAA guys, and really the only chance they had to win was when Webb was on the mound or Randy Johnson.
But Bob Melvin has got him playing, as you said, you got 25 big leaguers now, so a little more of a chance, and I don't think that Western Division is that strong.
3 balls and a strike. The leading team is only 8 games above 500. That's San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego is the best team because of their young pitching, but they're looking for more offense. They've had a couple guys on the disabled list too, so anybody with a hot streak and get some good pitch games got a chance to make a run at it.
Chance here for Rowland with a count of 3-1. Broke his bat, hits it to short. Bobbled though by Royce Clayton on to first, and they get him. Clayton has only committed 6 errors this season at shortstop, and Larry Walker aggressively moving on the play, slowly hit, and he advances to third. In our West standings, the Padres 4.5 out in front of Arizona. Then you've got the Dodgers, who just lost J.D. Drew to a broken wrist. He was hit by a pitch. They're 6.5 games out. Then the Giants and the Rockies, and we'll see San Francisco this weekend. Good base running by Larry Walker. We're accustomed to seeing that.
Good base runners. It's always a rule of thumb that you do not run when the ball's hit in front of you. But when a slowly hit ball and you're aggressive running, you can always get ahead of it.
No balls, 1 strike on John Mabry. Base hit right side, and it's 1-0 Cardinals. John Mabry with his 21st RBI. Well, let's take a look at how Larry Walker generates this run.
You talk about with a slowly hit ball, and you can advance.
And that's what happened on that slowly hit ball to short. Walker advances to third base, and Mabry drives him in. His 21st RBI. Now it's Gritzelanek.
As a rule of thumb, you take your secondary lead, and you see the ball was hit right about where he was, but slow enough to where he feels he can get ahead of it enough to make it a realistic chance that he'll be safe at third base. And it was that aggressive, good base running that he's noted for.
Who's a guy that you enjoyed watching base running? I mean, Lou Brock was a great base stealer, but just a smart runner like a guy like Walker.
People won't realize it, but Dale Murphy was one of the best base runners. And there was a guy that maybe a little better than average speed, but you never thought of him as a base runner, and yet he was one of the best of his era. And Larry Walker's recognized as one of the best base runners still in the game today at age 38. Were you surprised that they had the infield drawn in?
Yes.
Here in
the
the
second inning, yeah.
Maybe they think runs are going to be a premium. And Bob Melvin has great respect for John Mabry. They were together up in Seattle, and the manager of the Diamondbacks loves Mabes.
Ground ball, and it's through into center. Mabry will stop at second base. Gritzelanek, who is just hitting 188 over the last 10 days, picks up a base hit. Counsell almost had it. He's got pretty good range out there at second base. We've seen him play short, and Gritzelanek is hit into a bunch of double plays this season. That could have been another one.
Second base umpire Joe Brinkman, just because his position kind of screens that ball from the second baseman. Hit hard, stayed down on Counsell. The one thing about Brandon Webb and anybody with a dominant sinker is even when you have guys on base, you always feel that you're one pitch away from getting out of a jam. You got runners at first and second, 1 out, but you're one good pitch from getting that double play.
Now it's Molina with runners at first and second, 1 out. The pitch is a strike. How about another former teammate of yours, George Brett? What kind of base runner was he?
Well, George was a very good base runner also. He and Hal McRae were just extremely aggressive. I was just talking to Roland Heeman, one of the executives of the Arizona before the game with Hal, and he was with the White Sox at that time. And we were just kidding about how you always had to have 2 reserve infielders on call when you played against Hal McRae and George Brett, because they were going to injure one of those guys.
That was his reputation. Hal McRae is being a competitor, but one of the guys that you watched out for if he's at first base breaking up a double play.
They were going to take you out in left field. It would be clean, but it'd be good and hard.
0-2 is tap foul with Matt Morris on deck.
Al and the one thing about these Brett and McRae, when they left the batter's box, the defense had to stop them at first base, because they were always thinking that they had a double whenever they made contact with the ball to the outfield.
0-2 the count on Molina. Gritzelanek, the runner at first, Mabry out at second.
And I just thought of a great additional comment as Tony La Russa came up, and Roland Heeman said something to him, and Tony said, yeah, Hal McRae was the kind of guy that taught us how to win. Meaning the White Sox, a young team, they learned from the Cardinals or from the Royals at that time and saw how to win. You got to win, you got to have an attitude.
Another 1-2 pitch. It's 2-2. Molina has his average at an even 260 with 5 homers and 29 RBIs. Cardinals have jumped out to the early lead on an RBI base hit by Mabry. Strikeout number 2 this afternoon for Webb. You can email us here in Arizona. Email the booth at foxsports.com on MSN. The keyword Cardinals booth. Morris a chance to help himself with 2 down. Runners at first and second. Morris hitting 115 with an RBI. He does have 4 sacrifices this season. Officially past the halfway point of this regular season for the Cardinals. Game number 82 today.
82, and I think we would take a duplication of the first half, end up with 102 wins, and take our chances.
You know, Tony La Russa is going to be facing the same type of situation that the Cardinals faced last year, and they answered the bell by getting to the World Series but not being complacent. Up by 10.5 games already.
Team takes on the personality of their manager. Now, Tony's a nice guy, but when he puts that uniform on, it's all business, and he will keep his team challenged that way. And one of the ways is to go after that all-time win record. And I think what happened to the Cardinals in the World Series last year, if they get there again this year, they know they didn't get the job done, and that is one more aspect to keep the team driven in the right direction. Don't let them get complacent.
Ball and 2 strikes on Morris. Webb trying to get the 3rd and final out here in the top of the 2nd, and his 3rd strikeout. It's 2-2. Brandon Webb leads the National League in quality starts, which is 6 innings, 3 runs or less. Morris shoots it down the right field line, but foul.
And Brandon has 12 of those quality starts in 16 previous starts. One of the other things that he's done last year, he led the league in walks, and he's really cut down those walks. He had about 119 last year. He's got 32 to this point.
Kind of fell off a bit after a solid rookie campaign. Led the National League in losses with 16, and as you mentioned, 119 walks.
But because of that AA and AAA defense behind him, a lot of times balls went through.
35 starts a year ago. He logged 6 or more innings 23 times. So he was doing the job on the mound, getting deep into games, but not much offense and run support behind him, and not much defense. 2 runners on, and a count of 2-2. 1-0 St. Louis here in the 2nd. And it's a full count with the leadoff man, David Eckstein, on deck.
2 teams that are very good on the 4th of July. Diamondbacks are undefeated, 7-0. And the Cardinals are 5-0 this decade, and the last time they lost was when they were blown away by Arizona. Arizona scored 17 runs in that game, I think, in '99.
3-2 pitch, runners going. Slow roller, fair ball. Klaus had to avoid the runner, out at first. Larry Walker scores the first run of this game. Getting the glad hand in that dugout. 1-0 St. Louis.
At Bank One Ballpark, one of the unique features of this ballpark, of course, is the pool. Actually a hot tub. They rent out this area on a game-by-game basis. What you get, food and drink for 35 people, and your own personal lifeguard. $5 grand a night it costs, and gentlemen, it's sold out for the entire season.
How did you get in there?
I mentioned your name, Dan. They let me in.
Nicely done, Jim.
How come he didn't take his shirt off for that and get inside the hut tub?
I would love to see Jim Hayes, affectionately known as the Cat, in a Speedo.
would be good for ratings. Not good for ratings, gentlemen. I'd move on if I were you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
We'll let you try it if you want.
No chance of that.
Go ahead and email us in the booth if you'd like to see Jim Hayes in a Speedo.
Yeah.
I'm fine, thanks.
All right.
Now, I think I can speak for both of us. We really do not want to see him in one.
No.
But it would be entertaining.
Yes, it would. That would be good television.
That would be a visual.
I mean, a baseball game, you got so many things going on. A lot of times you got to fill things. Maybe we could shoot Jim out there lounging in that hot tub or the pool in his Speedo.
It is a family program.
That's drilled into right field. Walker on the move. It's in the corner and hops over the wall. Ground rule double for Sean Green and the first hit for the Diamondbacks.
Sean has had a history with Morris, and Sean has won many of those battles. 5 for 12 and a home run, and this was just a rocket. He's starting to heat up of late, get that average up there, and you see the Karaman into the stands. So the Cardinals got mad a run, and the Diamondbacks trying to answer.
A totally different looking team with Sean Green, no Randy Johnson. This man, Troy Glaus, third baseman, coming off a shoulder injury. At one time it was thought could be career-ending shoulder injury for Troy Glaus. He's got tremendous power, 17 home runs and 48 RBIs. First year in a new league. Former teammates David Eckstein and Troy Glaus.
Matt will find out that if you make your good pitches, you've got a better than even chance of getting Glaus out. But if you make mistakes, he can crush the ball.
Glaus is a guy that with all that power still strikes out an awful lot. 75 times down the left field line, and that ball is hooking, and it is foul. Just foul, as Glaus was looking for his 18th homer.
Out in front a little bit, and plenty of room to spare. Back of the bullpen, but 6 or 7 feet to the left of the foul pole. Long strike.
That's all it is if you're a pitcher, just a long strike.
And a souvenir for the fans.
A ball and 2 strikes, and Troy Glaus. 1-0 St. Louis. Pitch misses in, not by much. 2-2. Jose Cruz Jr. on deck. Switch hitting center fielder.
Glaus is looking for home run number 200 of his career.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Wow.
I didn't agree.
I didn't think he did. I didn't think he did at all, but they peel down to first, and Bill Miller punches him out.
Melvin didn't agree with it. Of course, you always see this angle, and it always looks so much more exaggerated. Glaus didn't think so. We didn't think so, but from a Cardinal standpoint, we're glad Bill Miller did.
Jose Cruz Jr. hitting just .217 with 12 homers, 27 RBIs. Well traveled, Tampa Bay and San Francisco, now in Arizona.
Never forget Saturday afternoon, the game of the week in Chicago. His father playing for the Cardinals, and the game was going back to Puerto Rico, and he took the eye black and made a Fu Manchu mustache. But he forgot, as it kept on wiping his face, that he was smearing it all over the place. He had eye black every place but the Fu Manchu and underneath the eyes where you traditionally put it.
Of course, you of the Fu Manchu peeled off number 39 yesterday at Busch Stadium.
It's gone.
And you did it in mad Hungarian fashion, too.
I never even thought about that, but Marty Henry said something about it the night before.
The baseball event of the year coming up July 18th, the Whitey Herzog Celebrity Roast. Bob Costas, Jay Randolph, Charlie Spoonhour, and a host of Whitey's former players will be there. They'll tell stories and roast the legendary White Rat. 421-4400 benefits the Children's Miracle Network and the Whitey Herzog Youth Foundation. And for people that didn't see it, explain what you did.
I think I tripped.
No, I don't think it was a trip.
I just did a somewhat of an exaggeration of what I did behind the mound, which anybody under 60 doesn't remember.
3-0 on Jose Cruz Jr. Both these pitchers went 1-2-3 in the first, but running into trouble in the second inning, as now Molina has to trot out to Morris for the second time. Sean Green looking in at those signs. Maybe Morris is thinking that, so let's switch him up again.
Sometimes they accuse that runner out of second of giving location. Other times, with certain players, they forget what sign the catcher just told you. That wouldn't be the case here, but then sometimes you wonder if is Matt having trouble seeing the pitches, the fingers of the catcher Molina?
On 3-0, they turn him loose. And safe at second. Good play, though, by David Eckstein with the pick on a low throw by Albert Pujols. Pujols gave it a chance. Hit it pretty close.
Normally very, very good with his throwing. He has a strong throwing arm, but must not have got a good feel for that. So Sean Green going back, and the ball was short hop to David Eckstein. Close play, but David did a nice job make sure that ball wasn't going to get by him.
You think about the stealing signs, and a couple of times Molina has had encounters with opposing hitters. Recently Darrell Ward, but you go back to the World Series, Manny Ramirez of the Boston Red Sox. He got in his face about it.
To me, that was the last bit to convince Cardinal management that Molina was ready to take over this club.
Two outs. Runner at second is Sean Green. Count of no balls and 1 strike on Royce Clayton. Boy, they can't hook up on a sign. Trying to get the right pitch here.
Very comforting feeling to know when you have a pitch in mind and that catcher puts down that signal and it's the same one, just to reinsure it.
Ball outside, 1-1.
There's other times where a pitcher may be best friends with that catcher, and you'll call him out and say, hey, I'm having enough trouble with the opposition. I don't want to fight you too.
Good curveball. Buckle the knees of the hitter Clayton.
Change speeds off that curveball, but the bottom line is it's 12-6 and a knee buckler. Clayton a little wobbly up there.
A ball and 2 strikes. Royce Clayton of the dreadlocks look now. Sticks the bat out, hits it back to Matty Moe. He'll take it. Low throw to Pujols. And Morris strands a runner at second after a leadoff double. About from yesterday, you peeled it off. Number 39 gone as 38 days remain, 38 home dates. And there you go, Al. Now, how did this all start? This act right here. I'm being serious. How did you remember how you started it?
Yeah, I was going back to the minor leagues. I was the Cardinal closer, and I just got off to a terrible start one year, and so I realized I kind of needed something to capture my concentration, kind of go through a little self-hypnosis and mental projections. And it kind of really turned my season around and kind of separated me from other people.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, people said, well, the only difference between us is you had a gimmick, but when you don't get anybody out, there's no place to
right.
Can't hide under a base or under a rock or anything. So
you were the fireman of the year. What season was that?
75.
75. 0-2 pitch. Another sinker, pulled foul. Eckstein grounded to second to start our ball game. He's 0 for 1 tonight.
And Red Shane used to always remind me that he'd go into a meeting, big divide, and say, "Oh, this is great. People love it." And Red would go, "Yeah, well, just wait till he loses a couple miles off his fastball.
Then things might change." Red Shandy's up in the booth with us. Has made this trip. Arizona and San Francisco, the Hall of Famer. Inducted back in 1989. 0-2 on David Eckstein, followed by Edmonds, and then we'll see Albert Pujols. Ooh, good pitch. Just missing outside, and it's 1-2.
And Webb from Kentucky.
Pulled foul again.
He's got when he pitches, he's got most command on the inner third to a right-handed batter and the outer third to a left-handed batter.
Curveball. That's spoiled by David Eckstein, an all-star this year in his first season in the National League. And you know that's got to be a thrill for him coming over to St. Louis. Year 1 of a 3-year contract, and he's an all-star. 7 pitches in this at bat for David Eckstein. And he chops it towards second again. Well, who can forget Jim Edmonds' catch in Game 7 of the NLCS against the Astros last year? Coca-Cola and Kriegers have teamed up with the Cardinals to bring the first 30,000 paid fans on July 17th. The figurine, the Jim Edmonds figurine, a diving catch by Jimmy. For tickets or more information, call the Cardinals at 421-2400, or you can always log on to stlcardinals.com.
And we saw that during the homestand. And nice addition to anybody's Cardinal collection.
This lineup is always changing for Tony La Russa. The only constant has been David Eckstein batting leadoff and Albert Pujols in the third spot. It's Edmonds batting second in this lineup once again this afternoon here in Arizona.
So last 7 starts, Jim's batted out of the second spot for Tony, and he's only batted 200 in that spot.
And one of the reasons Tony La Russa does this, instead of dropping Edmonds down in the order, he doesn't want to have it to where it's lefty, lefty, lefty. He likes to break it up with the right-handed, left-handed matchups that could pose a problem for a bullpen or his team late in the game.
Maybe, and you wonder if maybe that change kind of made where flip-flop with Walker and with Edmonds when he had the broken ribs, you know, or the broken rib, maybe not trying to do too much or swing too hard with that, put him in the second spot, move runners along.
And it's ball 4 to Jim Edmonds. This day in baseball history is brought to you by Schnucks, as Brandon Webb will face Albert Pujols with a runner at first. A cheerful Lou Gehrig tells 61,000 fans plus at Yankee Stadium, "I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth." Gehrig's number 4 is retired. Our Schnucks this day in baseball history. Of course, you have Lou Gehrig's disease and Kurt Schilling on his bloody sock, which is now in the Hall of Fame. Had that etched in his sock and also on his cleat because he knew everybody would be shooting it, trying to promote awareness. And he and his wife have raised millions of dollars here in Arizona and in the Boston area for Lou Gehrig's disease.
ALS. Talking with Albert before the game, and right here really kind of changed him. He struggled, only 1 hit in Colorado. Then he came into this ballpark here and rest was been history. But his first home run off the pitch thrown by Reynoso, after he tried to knock him down the pitch before, he hit a home run out to left field and had a very good series, and well on his way to Rookie of the Year.
Hasn't hit below 314 in his career. His best season was 359 back in 2003. Hits it sharply to first. On to second for one. And safe at first is Pujols.
Tracy missed the bag at first base.
And you could see him trying to feel for it with his right foot. The throw is there. It was in time. It had beaten Pujols, but he was off the bag.
Yes, it had. And Jim Edmonds very aggressively goes right after Royce Clayton. And then Tracy was never on the bag. So the throw beats him, but you got to know where that bag is. And Jim Edmonds, as we were talking earlier, going right after one of those middle infielders. Very hard, but very clean.
And Clayton thought the inning was over. Now it's Walker. Doubled off the top of the wall in right center field his first time up. Also came around to score on the RBI base hit by John Mabry. That's been all the scoring so far.
4 for 12 with a home run against Webb, and he gets a lot of pitches out away from him, and he should hit those balls hard.
Pujols with 7 stolen bases. That would surprise a lot of people to see that.
Career high, 7 for 7. You're a smart base runner. You can pick your spots. And a lot of times you can get a good jump and read off that pitcher, or the catcher kind of caught by surprise. But now there's, with him 7 steals, they're starting to pay attention to him.
Count of 1 ball and no strikes on Larry Walker.
Change up.
And we touched on it, Al. The article in the paper yesterday wanted an outfielder. But the thing is, if Larry Walker is healthy, there's not many better choices than Larry Walker, even at an advanced age, playing right field for the Cardinals.
A guy that you feel very comfortable with in postseason, just with his knowledge of hitting and experience, how to make adjustments. Walt even told me this afternoon that he goes, you know, he said, I'm not too sure I'd even want to make a team. Always looking to improve, but.
Pujols is running, throw down to second, and he is safe. Slid to the outside portion of the bag, and the throw is just a bit high, and Pujols slid underneath the tag. So he's in scoring position after his 8th stolen base.
Well, and also sliding feet first. You know, he's a big man going in there. A lot of those infielders don't want to get in there, but you can see a good call as that lead foot is there ahead of the tag. The tag was up around the knees, not down at the base, because of sliding feet first. You want to get your hands cleated up.
Chance for Larry Walker. Takes a ball outside, another walk. The second handed out by Brandon Webb in this game and in this inning. And it brings in Scott Rowland. Grounded to short his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Well, we're sure glad you could join us on FSN for the 4th of July here in Arizona. Jim Hayes, Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin with you. Cardinals with a lead of 1-0 here in the top of the 3rd.
And we told Oquendo happy birthday on the air. Jose's 42 today. Cardinal third base coach. There he is, the birthday boy.
Walker the runner at first, Pujols at second. And Rowland hits this one high in the air to center. That could be trouble, and it is. 2 runs are going to score. It's 3-0 St. Louis. Rowland, a 2-out RBI double. RBIs 23 and 24 for Scott Rowland, and the Cardinals lead it by 3.
Those numbers are down because of missing 33 days in the surgery, but he's starting really now to heat it up, and he'll be swinging the bat with authority when he gets to that All-Star game. Cruz kind of shading right center, ball out in left center, never caught up with it. And Larry Walker, the way he runs the bases, you knew he'd score on Rowan's double.
That's another run scored for Albert Pujols. He is first in that department in the National League with 67. Kind of an overlooked stat, but so important, scoring runs.
Can't win without scoring runs, can you? So
you got it.
Many people think that's one of the most important. And for a big man like Albert, it's a feather in his hat.
John Mabry hits it out to right field. That drops for a hit. Rolen being waved in. John Mabry with his second RBI. 4-0 Cardinals.
Bob Melvin still likes John Mabry. He likes him as a competitor and as a contributor, and he likes him more importantly as a person. But as the opposing manager, he may not be so happy with him, but he was paying quite a tribute to John Mabry before the game.
5 hits for the Cardinals. They've out-hit Arizona 5-1. Matt Morris gets the best run support on this staff, and it's the case here today. Force play at second. Cardinals are done, but they add to their lead. It's 4-0. Crowd is still filing in. Not a bad crowd on this 4th of July. As Matt Morris goes back to work, it'll be the number 8 man in this lineup, Chris Snyder, the catcher, hitting .230. Another ground ball out as Grudzielanek will take it. And it brings in Brandon Webb. Mark Grudzielanek with only 4 errors this season. He has been terrific defensively for St. Louis.
Double play combination has been an outstanding job, both offensively and defensively.
Now we get emails from all over the place of fans coming to Busch Stadium, like Gary, who has written in. People coming in for the final year of Busch to take it in, but they want to know when you could get to the ballpark and what time the gates open. Usually it's 2 hours before game time. So 5:10 they'll allow you to come in. I've always found it's a great way to get your autographs or just to see the players up close.
It used to be that gates would open an hour and a half before, but when McGuire era they started making it 2. And not all gates, but there is one gate that opens up 2 hours before. And any of the ushers or anybody around the stadium will tell you and direct you to which one. But you're right. I meet more and more people that are coming in from around the country to, and it happens in all ballparks, that to see its final year, and then it'll be next year. Those seats are going to really be a premium, as we'll open up the season at 38,000 capacity until July.
Brandon Webb is now 0 for 28 to start the season as Matt Morris picks up his 3rd strikeout. I used to go around to the ballpark. I loved being there early. Sometimes I wouldn't even stick around for the game, but I would love to watch Mark Whitten going through what he would do in right field and watching him throw. I mean, it was amazing. Everything was on a line. And you're up close, and the players will talk to you and visit with you.
Well, it's just like spring training. I mean, it's one of the greatest settings, and players a little more relaxed, a little more free time, not quite the hectic pace of during the season, and how accommodating they can be. Jupiter has become a very popular destination place to go watch the Cardinals, and with the Florida Marlins there sharing that complex, there's always games there.
Pujols will take it himself, an easy 1-2-3 inning for Matt Morris. We play 3 here in Arizona, and the Cardinals lead it 4-0. Come your way at 8 o'clock St. Louis time. The Cardinals and the Diamondbacks in game 2 of this 4-game set. Jeff Suppan is on the mound against Sean Estes. He's 6-6. Suppan is 7-7. Lost in his start on Thursday against Colorado, trying to bounce back, and we'll see it tomorrow here on FSN. Cardinals with a lead of 4-0. John Mabry with 2 RBIs. Scott Rolen with 2 RBIs. 4-zip St. Louis. Be Molina, Morris, and Eckstein. here in the top of the 4th. Strike at the knees. Molina struck out his first time up. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mets over Washington today 5-2. Houston wins again over San Diego 4-1. Out in front on a changeup, 2-2. Some talk that the Padres will maybe go out and pick up Brett Boone, who is designated for assignment. That surprised a lot of people.
Really? Also heard them inquiring about Barry Zito.
John Franco has been designated for assignment.
Yeah.
Second all-time in saves.
Most ever by a left-handed reliever.
And Brett Boone, it was a tearful goodbye as he met with the media yesterday. 2-2 pitch. Molina gets a piece. It's back in 2001 that these two teams hooked up in postseason play. Tony Womack base hit off of Steve Klein. They would then go to the World Series. The Yankees, Mariano Rivera and Tony Womack had a huge hit in Game 7 of that game against Rivera, double, and then of course Luis Gonzalez with the game-winning hit. Gonzalez has battled injuries last couple of seasons. Last year's shoulder injury, and before that he was injured at Busch Stadium. 2-2 pitch. Got him. Molina's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And that's number 3 for Brandon Webb. And it brings in Matt Morris. Grounded to third his first time up. We were talking about batting practice. Well, the Diamondbacks are wearing their batting practice jerseys for the 3rd game in a row.
They won Saturday and Sunday in Los Angeles, so decided to put on their lucky batting practice jerseys wearing the regular season. Hadn't been very much luck for him prior to that. There's Mike Swanson, one of the best and most colorful PR directors in all of baseball. Colorful.
And why do you say colorful?
Well, I can't tell everything, but
okay.
Every now and then a curb's been known to jump up and trip him.
A ball and a strike on Matt Morris with Eckstein on deck.
Swanee and I go back to the days in Kansas City.
Were you there when Rush was there?
1 year.
Rush Limbaugh?
1 year.
People don't realize he was in baseball.
He was an entry-level marketing person for the Kansas City Royals. Actually, to this day, he's very good friends with George Brett, and George basically got him fired. He was in charge of the first ball ceremony. And George would always say, "Let me see the ball, let me autograph the ball," and then they wouldn't get it back to him in time to start for the first pitch. And kind of let him go because he was always, he couldn't get the first pitch done on time. This is his good buddy George playing pranks with him.
So he canned him.
Well, he didn't can him.
They got him canned.
He was different. Be interesting to hear all the stories about him from his boyhood days in Cape Girardeau.
Curveball and a strike to David Eckstein. Twice he has grounded to second, 0 for 2.
Like Brandon Webb gotten to a lot more breaking balls.
Sure has. Like that.
Yeah, the sinkers were going through for base hits, so he's changed his pattern a bit. But to me, you never worried about throwing ground balls because you always had potential to get the double play.
Clayton over to first, beats Eckstein by a step. Cardinals go 1-2-3. Tracy, Gonzalez, and Green coming up.
Cardinals lead back at Bank One Ballpark. Danica Patrick, a 9th place finish in Kansas at the ball game tonight, and I understand that you're a Cardinal fan.
Yes, I am. I talked to Tony LaRusso before the game, and he said he'd adopt me as a fan, being from Chicago. I obviously had cheered for the Cubs for a little while, but I'm a Cardinals fan now.
So Danica Patrick has given up on the Cubs.
I'm a Cardinals fan.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
How have you handled the sudden, as we see a little bloop job, we'll see if Eckstein. Oh, that's a wonderful catch. That's why you're a Cardinal fan.
That's right.
How have you handled the sudden explosion of popularity?
You know, it's all taken in stride, and I understand how good it is for the sport. And you know, maybe one day there'll be as many people watching the game or the car racing as there are these games. But you know, it's exciting. It's good. It's good for the sport. It's good for everybody. It's good for sponsors.
How have the other drivers treated you?
I think they've been pretty good. They understand that, you know, with the increased popularity within the fans, it helps everybody. If their sponsors get more exposure, then everybody wins.
Thanks for the time, Danica.
Of course, thanks.
Guys, a new Cardinal fan.
All right, Jim, thank you. She lives here in the Phoenix area. Yes, she is engaged. And Danica Patrick is racing for Rahal Letterman Racing, an open wheel competition.
That's her fiance there, and the Cardinals gave her her own jersey with her name on the back of it. Nice touch.
Gonzalez grounds it to second. Of course, Bobby Rahal, one of the all-time great drivers, and then you have David Letterman from the great state of Indiana, and was introduced to racing because of the Indy 500 and always loved it.
Yeah, we might have to tell Miss Patrick that I think there are more race fans than there are baseball fans. So
it's amazing. The NASCAR scene has just exploded, but she's really helping out the IRL scene. And there's Sean Green.
And she has very good taste in her beverage selection.
Ice cold Bud Light. 1 ball, 1 strike on Sean Green, who doubled his first time up, and he has the only hit against Matt Morris. Hit high in the air into left field, and backing up just a bit, John Mabry camps under it, makes the catch. Matt Morris in a groove, hasn't allowed a hit since the 2nd inning. Danica and her Bud Light as we head to break. Let's turn to today's Aflac trivia question. Jim is not in the pool. Bob Gibson and Nolan Ryan recorded their 3,000th career strikeouts against the same batter. Name him. The Aflac trivia question.
Oh, I know the answer now. I didn't realize it was the same batter.
Former Red, right?
Yep. That's all we'll give him.
Cardinals with Jim Edmonds to lead it off and leading this game 4-0. Edmonds, Pujols, and Walker. Cardinals with 6 players headed to the All-Star game next week in Detroit. David Eckstein, Jim Edmonds, man on deck Albert Pujols, Jason Isringhausen. He'll be going. Scott Rowland is going.
Lackey's going.
Chris Carpenter's going. I think what's neat is that George Kissel is going. 60-plus years in the Cardinals organization.
He will be taking the spot of Dave McKay. Will have some more treatment on his back, so he'll be a legitimate coach.
2-1 is tap foul, and it's 2-2 on Edmonds, who has walked and grounded out to first. Tony La Russa said it's not a time where you make speeches to these teams, but if anybody does, I'm going to ask George if he'd like to address the National League squad.
And he's given the same speech every time, and he's 3-0, but give that opportunity for George to say a few words.
The strikeout of Edmonds. Strikeout number 4 for Brandon Webb. When you were playing, though, Al, the game, well, now there is something on the line, but before there was more pride between the leagues competing and trying to win the game.
Yeah, it was, you know, you pride yourself in the National League was a certain style of play. American League was the brother-in-law league. It was a country club league. And you know, the league presidents would come in and try and fire up and have a speech and talk about what it meant to the league. And it kind of got, you know, it really did kind of get into an exhibition where a lot of the players, you know, barely hang around, get in there and leave. And You know, the managers were more concerned with trying to get everybody in the game, and that's why you had the problem you had in Milwaukee.
Grounder to Troy Glass. 2 down.
Talked about how Brandon Webb's trying to change things. There's that good sinking fastball. You can see the terrific movement. Then a change up there, and then another sinker that got him to roll over and a little ground ball to third.
Pitch by pitch brought to you by your Mid-America Chevrolet dealers. 2 outs, and here's Walker. Scored 2 runs. He is doubled, and he is walked. 4-0 Cardinals. Another ground ball, and now the pitcher has to cover with the first baseman getting out of the way. Counsell retires him. A 1-2-3 fit for Brandon Webb. Back to the Aflac trivia question concerning strikeouts number 3,000 for Bob Gibson and Nolan Ryan. So who was their victim? The Cincinnati Reds. Cesar Geronimo, key component of the Big Red Machine.
Center fielder.
Troy Glass is swing and a miss.
I was going to say, this is Indian country as a clue.
Cardinals have out-hit Arizona 5-1, lead it 4-0. Sean Green, the only hit, that was a double back in the second. Getting emails about Matt Morris and why is he not part of the last 5 to be voted on for the All-Star game. Matt Morris trying to go for victory number 10 already. Logical question. You have Brandon Webb with not near the numbers of Matt Morris, but Matt Morris did not even start playing until mid-April. That was factored into it a little bit.
He only missed 2 starts.
Schedule set up perfectly for him and the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's giving a little more time to rehabilitate, you know, to rehab from the shoulder surgery late last fall. Good question, but Tony it kind of stunned me with a question or with an answer.
That caught him. Hit by the pitch, so that's their first base runner since the second inning.
Tony kind of said the Cardinals already had too many representatives.
I was wondering if that factored into his decision with Morris.
Yeah, see the good running action comes in on. All right, I said something to last season we were talking about Matt Morris. You know, Matt's a great competitor, and he's got that kind of making guys feel a little uneasy in the batter's box. And last season he had hit very, very few and gave up a lot of home runs. Now he's back to that, where I say, and I mean this as a compliment, a little bit of a mean streak. He's only allowed 6 home runs and he's hit 4 batters. Getting back in that ratio and not allowing hitters to feel comfortable in the batter's box.
Matt began his season on April 19th at Pittsburgh, and he's won every road game so far. He's won at Pittsburgh, in which he's had a decision. He won at New York, at Kansas City,
5-0,
at Colorado, at Tampa Bay, and trying to do it to make it 6-0 here in Arizona.
And win for the 10th time in 11 decisions.
A decision for Tony La Russa is who to start the All-Star game. As Mike writes in on FoxSports.com, Chris Carpenter, if he does get the starting nod, and he will pitch here Wednesday night, it will give him an extra day's rest going into that start, the All-Star game.
The one thing to me is, you know, Dontrelle Willis is going to be a logical choice along with Carpenter, and you got Livan Hernandez, another 12-game winner. But you know, when they change the rules, when they say it counts, you could fully understand Tony La Russa going with his horses and going with his people, because you know, they saw the home field advantage and could have been the difference last season, even though the Cardinals were swept 4 games. But if you win that first one, I think the Cardinals might have swept Boston.
2-2 pitch, and it's past Gritzelanic into center. Glass will stop at second base.
underneath the dive of Grizzlonic, and Troy Glass knows about the throwing arm and accuracy of Jim Edmonds, and he wasn't going to go from first to third. So Cruz hits the ball up the middle, gets through for only the second hit, but the Diamondbacks have something going here in their 5th inning with runners at first and second and nobody out.
And the batter will be the shortstop, Royce Clayton. Really started with Glass being hit by the pitch, and then Jose Cruz Jr. with the base hit up the middle.
If you're a pitcher, you go, I got 7, 8, and 9, and they will have to pinch hit for Brandon Webb if they hit something going, because he's 0 for 28. But here where you see the first out.
Webb has already thrown 82 pitches, and Morris is at 55. One-0 pitch. It's foul and out of play. Royce Clayton in his time in St. Louis was in a unenviable spot with Ozzie Smith there, and of course Royce Clayton, the prime of his career, Ozzie in the latter stages of his career.
Remember, he was traded for, so it wasn't anything of his own making. For free agent shortstops, Walt Weiss being one, where the Cardinals tried to acquire Walt Weiss, and he said, well, what's the status of Ozzie? I said, well, he's still there. And you go, and right there, and they all said, no thank you.
Cardinals 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. The Diamondbacks 0 for 3 so far. Deshaun Green led off with a double in the second. They struck out, lined out, and grounded out. There's another ground ball. Eckstein has a play to go to third. How about a double play? Tough to turn, and they can't. A risky play there by David Eckstein, trying to get the double play. Very easily could have gone to third and get that lead runner.
I think with Grizzlonic's throwing arm, you always have a legitimate shot if he can turn on that throw and complete the double play. Still had the double play in order with the 8th man up, and could get the lead man, but wasn't hit particularly hard, so kind of a 50-50 situation.
Here's Snyder, and a curveball and a strike. Now here's a situation that you were talking about, Al. You've got the pitcher Brandon Webb 0 for 28 on deck, and the Diamondbacks thinking along the same lines you are, getting somebody loose in their bullpen.
Smart pitcher can really help himself by the ability to pick up a hit or two.
Aquino, a right-hander, throwing in their bullpen. Matchups for this series, it'll be Jeff Suppan and Sean Estes tomorrow. Carpenter against Javier Vasquez. That'll be a good one on Wednesday. Marquis and Vargas on Thursday. A check swing and a strike. Second time that the Cardinals have appealed down there with that first base umpire, and the second time it's been called a strike, and now Snyder is in the hole, 0-2.
Just look at the mannerisms of Matt. Got runners at first and third and only one out, but he feels like he's the one that's in control.
Ooh, just missing inside.
Great pitch right there. If you miss inside off the plate, not over the middle half. And that sets up the next pitch, whether he comes back inside or goes back away, whether he throws the sinker, whether he throws the curveball.
In the dirt. 2-2.
Got Royce Clayton out at first base. You wonder if they're going to try and get him to be moving to avoid a double play. Curveball.
He got him.
Yes, he did.
That's a strikeout for Morris, number 4 this afternoon, and this is our Hardy's hot pitch of the game from Matt Morris.
There's times when you want to get strikeouts, and this was one. Good breaking ball, fools the hitter. going to do anything with that pitch, even if he made contact. But pound it in the ground, and with 2 outs, he'll let Webb hit for himself. 0 for 28.
Struck out his first time against Morris. Fastball at the knees on the outside corner. He struck out and did not look good in doing so.
No, and you just see Matt, just the adrenaline flowing in the right direction, very much under control. He knows he's got that pitcher up there, and he knows he can still keep that shutout intact.
That's strike 2. Cardinals, as we move to the 6th, will have Roland, Mabry, and Grizzolani. Morris is trying to get us there with a 4-0 lead. Pretty good battle here with Matt Morris and Chris Carpenter as Webb slices that foul. Carpenter comes in 4th best in earned run average, 2nd in wins. Matt Morris trying to move just to 2 back of him with a win today, and Carpenter is 4th in innings pitched.
And look at strikeouts.
Strikeouts have been very high all season long as well, just 2 back of Pedro Martinez. But the overall lead as the runner from first is going matters not with the strikeout. 5 for Matt Morris. Roland, Mabry, Grizzolani coming up. Birds on top. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC. Here's Scott Rowland. And our guys in the truck really like to swim. It has nothing to do with the people out there, Al. They just, you know, our guys sometimes it gets a little hot in the truck, especially in Arizona, so maybe go out and have a little dip.
Yeah, I know they left their lasting impression in the Vinoy pool.
That was in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
One and 2 the count on Scott Rowland. He has an RBI base hit. 3 of the 4 runs have been scored with 2 outs for the Cardinals.
John Mabry comes up. We'll kind of show his 2 swings. Very interesting, and that'll come right now.
Well, that's a low strike blowing away, and Rowland didn't like it. Looked to be a ball, but it's a strikeout for Brandon Webb. His 4th this afternoon, and here's John Mabry and his 2 swings.
One on the left, his 2nd inning RBI, jams him a little bit, so he fights it off, really uses his hands. Now in the 3rd inning, another RBI single, but he goes down and gets another pitch that's away and lifts that out to right field. So 2 for 2, 2 RBIs, and 2 very good at bats for John Mabry.
And that's pop foul and out of play. A lot of people emailing us saying that you underdid it. You know, you didn't over-exaggerate it. They were ready for the true mad Hungarian. And apparently some of these people felt that you didn't give it to them yesterday.
That's all I have left.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
0-2 on John Mabry with Grizzolani on deck.
I wasn't even going to do that until it said Marty Hendon said something to me about it. And I asked a couple people if I should even do that much.
A lot of people are finishing their statements by saying, I remember, and capitalizing it, I'm not under 60.
Oh. So they're all over 60.
That's right. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Foul ball.
Yeah, we talk all the times about how hitters make adjustments. It looks like Brandon Webb has made an adjustment in this game as a dominant sinker ball pitcher, but a few of them are going through the base, going through for base hits, and now he's really gone to that curveball. Didn't work.
That one is whacked, yeah, into center field. So John Mabry A start in left field for Tony La Russa today, and he is 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs.
And 3 different swings on all 3 of his base hits. First one was jammed. Next one he went down to get it. Let's see this one. More in the middle of the plate and more of a little bit away from him, but take it right back up the middle. So 3 different swings produce the same result.
Here's Gridzolonic. If you're wondering, by the way, about the availability of Reggie Sanders, he is available to pinch hit. That's a swing and a miss. Mabry reads it on his way to second. He's in scoring position. It was kind of quiet, but Reggie was sliding into the bag at second base a couple of nights ago, and his foot turned a little bit as he went into the bag, so he sprained the front portion of his foot, and he does expect to play tomorrow night, and again available to pinch hit today.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday on the plane coming out here to Arizona. And by the way, weren't his daughters outstanding? Didn't even know they were on the charter.
Hit out to center field. Mabry tags up from second just to draw the throw. And there's 2 outs. Second annual Cardinals campout. This will be the last campout in Busch Stadium history. It's Friday, July 29th and Saturday, July 30th. $250 per person. Children 4 and under are free. Campers receive, in addition to camping out, a Terrace Reserve ticket to the August 18th game against the Diamondbacks. Camp out souvenirs, food and drinks are provided. Beer will be sold on a limited basis, and the number to call is 421-2400. You can log on to stlcardinals.com as those have gone on sale.
And you can watch our broadcast from Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium. That'll be on the big screen that Friday night. As you're sitting out there camping out right there, got your own little piece of real estate out in Busch Stadium outfield grass.
What's interesting is watching this at bat with Molina. He has not changed his approach with him, which has been sinkers and changeups. Not many curveballs to Yadier, who has struck out twice. First pitch was a sinker. There's the curveball, pulled foul. 0-2. So you can watch this on the big screen at Busch Stadium with the campout. Outfield is normal depth. Center fielder Cruz Jr. shading Molina just a bit to pull. Ground ball to the second baseman. Craig Counsell takes it. Mabry stranded. He's the 4th runner stranded by the Cardinals tonight. The Redbirds on top, 4-0 midway through the 6th. Baseball. And as Jim Hayes told us, he's now a Cardinals fan. Matt Morris pitches by inning. 10 in the first, 15 in the second, 10 in the third, just 8 in the fourth, and 24 last inning after he hit a man and then gave up a base hit. Top of the order. Curveball and a strike to Craig Counsell. After a couple of seasons in Milwaukee, he's back with the Diamondbacks. Open stance. Such an odd way to hit. Oh, how he does it.
It works for him, but something you would never teach.
Into center. Edmonds coming on. Glides to it to make the catch. First out here in the bottom of the 6th. If you're just joining us, the Cardinals have RBIs from John Mabry, 2 of them, and 2 RBIs from Scott Rowland. Lead it 4-0. Matt Morris has allowed just 3 hits. The Cardinals have out hit the Diamondbacks 5-3. We certainly hope you're having a very safe and happy holiday weekend. The 4th of July. That's a foul ball off the instep of the batter, Tracy. He is struck out and popped out to short. No balls, 2 strikes. See that this field is configured a little differently, at least the infield, with the dirt path towards home plate from the mound. Don't see that on many ball fields.
No. Maybe on a few softball fields.
Yeah, it's more of a softball look, but not a baseball look. The only problems grass-wise that they've had as far as drying out, dying, is out in left field, and of course there's a bunch of patches that are dead out in right. As Walker in right field is on the move, that's in the corner. Tracy on his way to second.
Third hit for the Diamondbacks today off of Matt Morris. Third time through the order. Got the pitch up. Pelted it into right field, kind of hanging breaking ball a little bit. Big difference between it ending up bell tie and ended up down around the knees or below.
So the third time through now for this lineup.
Look at that, though.
Morris gets better, 234. Here's Gonzalez. Good pitch. Popped up, tied him up in on the hands. Scott Rowland calling for it. He's got it. Baseball fans, all-star voting isn't over. You can vote for the 32nd player on each team using your mobile phone. Text keyword vote to MyMLB 69652 and cast your all-star final vote July 3rd through July 6th. It's 99 cents per vote. Standard message rate supply, or vote at stlcardinals.com. One of those guys you can vote for is that man, Brandon Webb.
You can't do a write-in vote for Matt, can we?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Good idea.
Let's start it right now.
Matt Morris could be 10-1. And
could be 11 or 1.
Yeah, he's got one more start before the break this weekend in San Francisco.
I think he would love to be there, but I think he's just thrilled to death the way he's pitching and pain-free. And he is definitely pitching.
He told me last year it was about 75%. That's how he felt. Now he said it's like having a new arm, a new shoulder. I just feel I can actually reach out and finish off my pitches.
And that's what the difference is. He can reach out and you get the movement, just that little flick of the wrist at the end. He had to cut off his delivery.
Curveball to Sean Green and a strike.
And reach out and pull down on the curveball, but finish off his sinker. Get the movement to it. Increase velocity, but sometimes you learn a lot more when you don't have as good a stuff.
Another ground ball, backhanded play, knocked down by Grizzolonic. Everybody's safe. That's a base hit for Sean Green, but it does save a run. Second hit for Sean Green, the fourth hit for the Diamondbacks. And it brings in Troy Glaus.
Many times this ball is just gobbled up by Grizzolonic, but kind of lost his balance there. Tried to backhand it, and then his forward progress catapulted him forward, and the ball popped out. And at least he didn't try to complicate things by making an off-balance throw, run the risk of throwing it away.
2 outs, 2 on. Strike 1 on Glaus.
Where Matt says, I'll take care of the rest of it.
Glaus missed a home run, barely down the left field line.
A lot of talking about the shadows at Busch Stadium, but look what right here. Opening in the roof of the ends.
Up the middle, that's a base hit. Diamondbacks on the board. Troy Glaus with the RBI, his 49th. A 2-out base hit. 4-1.
In some ways, the hitter, everything is illuminated as you see that ball through there, but that'd be probably tough to see it coming off the bat too. Everything is bright and a good sinker. Had the action running in, but stayed middle half in.
Batter is Jose Cruz Jr. Strike 1. Tied him up with the pitch.
That's the pitch that Matt learned last year, that cutter coming in on the left-handed batters.
Cruz is lined out to first and singled. Check swing, and it's 0-2 as that ball just exploded back in.
Jose Cruz, watch the face of the batter. His ball just explodes in there. Movement. I totally closed his eyes and expecting that ball to explode in as it kind of came back to the middle of the plate.
One and two the count.
Not only his father was a big leaguer, but he had two uncles, Heidi and Cirilio Cruz, all from Ponce, Puerto Rico.
2-2. 4-1. Cardinals lead it here in the sixth inning. Matt Morris will be due up first, then the top of the order for St. Louis in the seventh. Morris trying to get out of this little jam. Was ahead in the count, 0-2, and now it's 2-2, and Morris is looking back at Sean Green. Remember earlier we talked about this. Is he looking in to get signs from that second base spot?
Just a friendly conversation.
Curveball, and he struck him out. Morris glances back at Green. Diamondbacks get on the board, and it's 4-1. One Cardinals, and here's what happened. Right as we went to break, we couldn't show you this because we were in our commercial, but Jose Cruz is saying something to Matt Morris, who then looks over, and those two come in for a conversation, and then the benches would almost clear.
You watch Eckstein, he kind of recognizes that Cruz is saying something. Molina comes back and intercedes, but I think they were basically saying that, you know, hey, nothing's happened. You know, we weren't trying to give location, we weren't trying to do anything, and Matt really seemed like he was trying to say nothing was going on either. But at that point, the benches don't know what's going on.
It almost
even
looked to
Red
me,
doesn't even know what's going on.
as Matt Morris was trying to explain it maybe to Cruz, those two were having a conversation as to why he was upset, but the guy he was really upset with was the man at second base,
Sean Green. And Sean Green said, I wouldn't do anything.
That's a fair ball, and Morris is retired. Glenn Dolby is today's merchandise winner in the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run in this inning, then Len qualifies for the Hyundai Tucson drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Here's David Eckstein, 0 for 3. He's grounded to short. Twice he's grounded to second. Four to 1 Cardinals. 2 RBIs today for John Mabry. 2 more for Scott Rowland. Cardinals got 1 in the second. Picked up 3 in the third. And since that third inning, Webb has only allowed just 1 base hit. That was John Mabry. Tap foul. And you mentioned, Al, that Brandon Webb had really mixed up his pattern second and third time through, and now here we go with the fourth time.
Yeah, and then maybe he'll go back now to more sinkers because he's got them conscious of the breaking ball. There's a breaking ball.
Eckstein drops down. Glaus on the move. It gets away. David with a base hit, on his way for more. So a single and an error on Troy Glaus, his 16th error.
Just kind of slung it up there, gets by Tracy, and advancement.
Now we're told that the majority of his errors are throwing errors, not so much with the glove. So he picks up his 16th. And Eckstein is in scoring position for Jim Edmonds, who's been quiet today. He's grounded out to first. He has struck out and he has walked 0 for 2. First pitch to him is low and away.
See the sunlight shining on these left-handed batters right in their face.
Floats in there for a strike. Edmonds didn't think so. And it's 1-1.
Like Jim Edmonds maybe just a little bit wider than normal. Float up on that backside and get into a hitting position where the hands are still, but and Webb, as Hal McRae described it, is dominant on controlling the pitch out away from him. And that's a pitch, you know, where he drives the ball so well to the opposite field. They've been working him inside today. Jim had come in 2 for 2 off of Webb with a home run, and he's 0 for 2 today.
Atlanta's jumped out to a 3-0 lead on Chicago. That's in the third. That's against Kerry Wood. Wide open stance of Edmonds. A wide base. 2-2 the count, with Albert Pujols on deck.
Ball out away from him. See what he can do. Try and go keep in on it.
Ooh, nice pitch. That one tailed back in the zone. 6 strikeouts for Webb.
Ball had terrific movement back to the plate, and I think it's a strike. Jim gives up on an inside, but look at that movement come right back, and it's a strike.
Yep. How about this movement coming at you and then right over the strike zone? Great pitch. Now it's Pujols with Larry Walker on deck. Albert is 0 for 3. Stole a base in this game back in the third, his 8th this season already. Derek Lee came into play today with a .383 average, 25 homers and 66 RBIs. For Pujols, .342, 21 homers and 66 RBIs. Albert leads in multi-hit games and runs in the National League. Scored another one today.
Interesting thing about Derek Lee is
Pujols with a base hit into left. That will add to his RBI total. Good play by Gonzalez to slide and cut it off as Eckstein scores. 5-1 Cardinals. But an absolute rocket off the bat of Albert Pujols.
You got to start getting a little tired. Maybe get those change-ups up a little bit. We're talking about a great hitter in Albert Pujols. Really good pitch, but just an exceptional hitter.
Here's Walker. He is grounded to second. Doubled and scored back in the second inning. Walked and scored in the third. Pujols running again, but a line shot is caught by Chad Tracy. Time to stretch here in Arizona. 5-1 Redbirds. Lead here at the Bob Bank One Ballpark. It's now 5-1. St. Louis after the RBI by Albert Pujols, his 67th RBI this season. Well, tomorrow at 7, it's Cardinals Magazine from Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill. It's a best of edition, and it also features a sit down with Hall of Famer Bob Gibson, Albert Pujols, a review of Tony La Russa's book, 3 Nights in August. Cardinals Magazine tomorrow at 7 from Hot Shots on FSN Midwest. We hope you tune in. Albert Pujols has made this a 5-1 Cardinal lead. As we celebrate the 4th of July here in Arizona. Matt Morris back to work. Royce Clayton will be the first hitter that he sees. Bottom of the order, Clayton, Snyder, and probably a pinch hitter for Brandon Webb. Royce is 0 for 2. 2 groundouts. Hitting .246, 2 homers, 24 RBIs. And they love his defense here in Arizona. He's only made 6 errors. It's been very solid. On the first pitch, down by 4 runs late in the ball game. Grounds out for the 3rd time. Relive great baseball stories at the Whitey Herzog Celebrity Roast on Monday, July 18th. It benefits Children's Miracle Network and the Whitey Herzog Youth Foundation. To order tickets, call 421-4400. You can visit the website, foxsports.com, the keyword Midwest for more information. It's the Whitey Herzog Celebrity Roast, and it's sponsored by Budweiser. Whitey Herzog, 7 years in the American League as a manager, 12 in St. Louis. Retired back in 1990 as he stepped down. First pitch, a strike to Chris Snyder, who is 0 for 2. He's grounded to second and struck out. Good curveball. Could be a quick inning here for Morris.
That's what you need. You need one of those real quick innings at this stage of the game.
That's 4 pitches and 2 outs.
That'll help propel you into a complete game, or at least getting into the 9th inning possible.
So that's going to be it for Brandon Webb.
Quentin McCracken will pinch hit for Webb.
7 strikeouts for Morris. 2 outs. Nobody on for McCracken. The Diamondbacks half of the 7th. 5-1 Cardinals. Finals rolling in the National League. Mets over Washington 5-2. Houston wins again 4-1 over San Diego. Phillies beat Pittsburgh 12-1. It was Cincinnati 11, San Francisco 10. That just became a final. McCracken to the opposite field. Pretty well hit, and it is foul. Over in the American League, Cleveland beat Detroit 9-3. Yankees on the boss's 75th birthday beat Baltimore 13-8. In a wild game at Yankee Stadium. Yankees led that 6-0, then trailed 8-6, and then piled on in a big 8th inning for New York, and then Rivera came in to finish it off. A ball and a strike on McCracken, hitting .211 this season, 1 homer, 7 RBIs. Fly ball into shallow right, late break. It's going to drop for a hit. McCracken may have cracked his bat, and there was a little hesitation on a full swing there by Walker. Then he finally realized that was going to drop in there for a hit and started to charge in.
Set up inside. Breaking ball. It's kind of well placed. A little tough for Walker.
And we're back to the top of the order. Craig Counsell 0 for 3. Fastball a little low. No activity in the Cardinal bullpen. No need. Pitch count has been low for Morris, despite the fact that he has 7 strikeouts, which many times will elevate that pitch count.
Hit a man, but no walks. And the 2 walks hurt Brandon Webb.
Tied him up. And Morris again fields his position. That's the 3rd time he's done that, as Morris is looking sharp. Cardinals will have Roland, Mabry, and Grizzolana coming up. It's 5-1 St. Louis. Arizona. Cardinals with a lead of 5-1. And Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of FSN Midwest. Jim Hayes, Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin with you. Bud Sports crew of Brian McCann and Doug Stanton, Lindsey Polite, Tom Mee, Mike Helling. Greg Aquino will take over. This will be his 10th appearance, an ERA of 9, and opponents hitting over 350 against him in his 8 innings of work.
Little different story to it. He missed 62 games with an ulnar nerve irritation. He'll have to pitch all season to overcome his initial inning and a third where he gave up 8 earned runs. So that'll just bury that ERA up there and slowly kind of get it to come back down.
Scott Rowland now above the 260 mark. He's at 261. He's grounded to short. He has doubled with 2 outs to bring in 2 runs. That was back in the 3rd. And he struck out back in the 6th. Had the count here, 2 balls and no strikes. And Scott was saying that he was almost embarrassed by the All-Star selection because he missed so much time, but yet if the fans vote you in, he said it's an honor to go.
Absolutely.
It'll be his 4th All-Star appearance.
His play never embarrasses himself.
His defense is the best in the league at that position. Three and 1 the count. Misses inside with ball 4. Well, it's coming up. It'll be on Tuesday, July 12th. Baseball's greatest players gather in Detroit for one spectacular night. It's the 76th All-Star Game. So don't miss the biggest names as they battle for home field advantage in the World Series. It's the 2005 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. July 12th in high definition, and it's only on Fox. Their lone representative is Luis Gonzalez. Headed to his 5th All-Star game. Brandon Webb in his final appearance for the voters. He'll make one more start before the All-Star game, but voters have until July 6th, 2 more days to vote 1 of 5 in, and Brandon is one of those 5. And Mabry picks up another hit. He's 4 for 4.
Have a day.
John Mabry 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs.
In plenty of these swings, and why not? If you collect a hit in every at bat, this one pitches up, and you can see him fight it off, get on top of it to hit the line drive right over the head of Clayton, the shortstop, and his 4th hit. First 2 produced RBIs. The last 2 were just singles, but very productive day for John Mabry.
There's Grizzolonic. Mark is 1 for 3. We're in the 8th, 5-1 Cardinals, and trying to sacrifice, and bunts it fouling out of play. Grizzolonic for the better part of this season was in that number 2 spot in the order. Then he dropped down, and you know, this is an RBI spot in this order when you consider what's in front of you with the Cardinals, and as much as those guys get on base, Pujols and Walker and Rowland.
Tony La Russa, Grizzolonic in his last 7 RBI situation, he's 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position, including an RBI single yesterday.
Overall, he's hitting .282 in these spots. Didn't like the call, and that's strike 2. Nothing in 2. John Mabry now hitting .268 after his 4 for 4 performance. Up from .246 at the start of play. Runners at first and second. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Grizzolonic strikes out.
He was still thinking about strike 2.
Yep.
On that strike 3.
First strikeout for Aquino. Now he's a double play from getting out of the inning. Double play candidate is Molina. He'll be the batter with Matt Morris on deck.
You know, John Mabry just batting just under 300 in his last 26 starts. And
will we see Matt Morris here, Al? We've got Nunez moving to the on-deck circle, so the inning is extended.
I think they're more than happy to say you've done your job, spread a couple innings to the bullpen. Makes it a little easier if you have a scoring opportunity.
It's like Brad Thompson is getting loose. And it is.
Starters have been doing such a good job. Some of those guys in the bullpen need a little work.
Abraham Nunez with the game-winning hit over Colorado yesterday. He batted in the leadoff spot for the first time.
Jason Isringhausen hasn't pitched since last Tuesday. We had very few save opportunities of late.
He's one shy of 200 for his career. Oh, 1 pitch. Doesn't offer at it. 1 ball, 1 strike. They've moved to the 4th. Atlanta leading 3-0 on top of Chicago. Terry Wood back in the rotation. I don't think there's any real surprises as far as omissions from the All-Star game. Nothing stood out.
No.
It's a roster of 32. And like we've said before, I mean, a lot of that now is out of the hands of the manager as far as selecting the players.
Yeah. One thing that has helped is some of the premier players or some of the perennial choices have been hurt. Bonds is an example, which opens the door for someone else.
I mean, it always was Bonds or Sosa out there too.
Yeah. Sosa now in the other league. He didn't not having an all-star type campaign, so he's not selected.
He's got just 9 home runs, I believe. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Grounded through the hole. And they're going to hold up the runner at third. That's Scott Rowland. So the bases will be loaded. 1 out for Abraham Nunez. We have seen a walk, 2 hits, and a strikeout in this inning. The first hit for Molina. And a left-hander's getting loose in the bullpen for Arizona.
Keno, where he sits there and he kind of just really doesn't drive off that back leg at all. He signed as a 16-year-old infielder and spent 4 years in the minor leagues as an infielder before being converted as a pitcher. And he was their closer late last year. Nunez, the hero of yesterday, gets a chance here.
Bases loaded, 1 out. First pitch to the switch hitter is a strike. So Matt Morris's day is done. Another solid outing with 7 innings. He struck out 7 and allowed just 1 run. That was in the 6th, and an RBI base hit by Troy Glaus. Fastball misses low at 96 miles an hour. Nunez was fantastic filling in for Scott Rowland, and really when he starts, the guy is produced. He's hit .373 in 16 of his last 20 starts. 1 ball, 1 strike. That slap to the opposite field, and that ball is going to get down. Rowland will score easily. He can walk on in. Here comes Mabry. Molina will be stopped at third. Abraham Nunez delivers. A bases loaded double to make it 7-1 St. Louis.
Breaking ball, just lifts it out there in the left center, and then it gets by the center fielder Cruz to guarantee the extra run. And there he goes down and gets the ball. Let's take a look at Reggie. See how much fun he's having watching his teammates go. Nunez almost caught up with Molina at second base.
We've seen that before.
Yeah.
And now it's David Eckstein. Cardinals adding to their lead 7-1. And the infield is drawn in. Nunez the runner at second base. Molina is the runner at third, and David Eckstein is one of the Cardinals' top hitters in this spot. Runners in scoring position. He's hitting .333. I mean, I watched Nunez, and I'm still trying to figure out why Pittsburgh would let him go.
Well, you know why? And it's because he's going to be eligible for arbitration, and it might cost him a little bit. But he's the kind of guy that you put him on a very good ball club like this, and he becomes even more valuable.
2-0 pitch. Of course, Abraham Nunez and his wife just had their third child this last week. Abramni Marie. That was on Thursday.
I think mom and baby daughter came home today, or plan was to come home from the hospital.
And it's ball 4 to David Eckstein, so the base is back loaded for Jim Edmonds. If the Cardinals can hold on and win this ball game, they move to 22 games above the 500 mark, and a chance to be 11.5 in front of Chicago. Bob Melvin will call the lefty out of his bullpen. We'll tell you about him when we come back. It's 7-1 bases loaded. Edmonds coming up. This game recap is brought to you by Bank of America, the official bank of baseball. The little things, breaking up double plays, then a stolen base. This is back in the third inning for St. Louis. Scott Rowland makes him pay with an RBI double that plated 2. Right after that, John Mabry, bang with a base hit into right. That would score Scott Rowland 3 runs in the inning. That would make it 4-0. The Cardinals then led 4-1. They've added another run to make it 5-1 and 2 more in this inning. It's now 7-1. John Mabry perfect with 4 singles, 2 RBIs, and Matt Morris, who will be lifted in this game after being pinch hit for. 7 innings, 6 hits. He struck out 7 and allowed just 1 run. And the key stat, I guess, Al, 1 run and no walks allowed by Matt Morris.
Very good, as Javier Lopez will come in here, and Tony La Russa will counter. He will pinch hit Taguchi for Edmonds, as right-handed batters are batting .345 off of Lopez and .258 for southpaws.
Odd swing there by So Taguchi with the bases loaded. Infield at about halfway depth. Then they charge in, get that man at the plate if they can. So is hitting .277. Molina is the runner at third base. Abraham Nunez delivering a clutch double. He's at second, and David Eckstein, after his walk, is at first. Taguchi down the left field line, and it is fair. Here comes some more Cardinals. Molina and Nunez score. Taguchi delivers. 9-1. RBI double for So Taguchi. So 2 bases loaded doubles for the Cardinals in this inning.
That left-hander, that situational left-hander that drops down there, but boy, a right-handed batter can see the release point, and it just sat there for Taguchi, and he turned on it. As I said, right-handed batters batting .345 before that hit. Now intentional pass to Pujols that the Cardinal fans do not like.
I think some of the home fans don't like it either.
Probably don't.
9-1. They're thinking, I want a chance to watch one of the best hitters in baseball. Albert Pujols was an RBI single, and he is 1 for 4. And he also picked up a stolen base in this game, his 8th stolen base, as some of these fans start heading for the exits.
Luna will pinch hit for Walker following this 4th ball to Pujols.
And this will be the 9th man to come to the dish in this inning. 3 walks in the inning, 3 hits in the inning. Well, the Cardinals just split 2 with Colorado, and now the Cardinals trying to send a message here, Al, in game 1 of this 4-game set.
Anytime you win the first game of a series, you send a little bit of a message, but I think it also, people are getting concerned about the Cardinals getting a little complacent. They don't have to worry about it here.
Choplove will come in relief in this 9-1 game. The Cardinals have banged out 12 hits, and they lead it 9-1. Mike Koplov will come into the ball game for Arizona. He tossed a 1-2-3 ninth inning last night at Dodger Stadium, finishing up Arizona's 10-3 triumph. And he ranks third on the franchise's all-time list for appearances, behind only Byung-Hyun Kim with 243 and Greg Swindell at 225. Career high 76 games last year, third highest total in club history. And he was optioned to Tucson AAA earlier this season, and he's been called back up, obviously, and now pitching back in the major leagues. Here's Luna, the ninth man to come to the dish. Little chopper, could be two. That's a nifty play, and they get it. Double play. Cardinals add to their lead with 4 more runs here in the 8th. It's 9-1, St. Louis. Grew up not too far from here in Las Vegas. This will be his 18th appearance. ERA under 2. Opponents hitting 175 against him. He has been outstanding for the Cardinals. So it's Brad Thompson, the 23-year-old right-hander, that will take over for Matt Morris, who lasted 7 innings, 1 run allowed, 6 hits, no walks. He struck out 7, and he was very, very sharp in trying to pick up victory number 10. So it's Thompson to pitch the 8th. It'll be the numbers 2, 3, and 4 spot in the lineup for Arizona. So Taguchi stays in the game, plays center. Hector Luna's in right. First pitch is at the knees, but just a bit inside for ball 1. A lot of people think that when he was called up, Brad Thompson, this was maybe that final piece of the puzzle for the bullpen. Really solidified what was already a pretty good bullpen.
And he really came in right away and threw strikes, did a nice job, picked up that save in a 3-inning outing. Cal Eldred was still out at that point, so now that has really solidified with Cal Eldred coming on board. Thompson ahead in the count with the ball and 2 strikes. That's slapped to Scott Rowland. Nice play on the backhand, gets up and fires to Pujols. Well, this team has done a lot of the little things this afternoon, whether it be breaking up double plays. The defense has been very good. No walks allowed by Matt Morris. And it's added up to a 9-1 lead. It just looks like a real top-notch game as they came out here. They got on the scoreboard first. They've added to that lead. They've had good pitching, good defense, timely hitting, spare parts doing their job. That being John Mabry, went 4 for 4. Nunez contributing with a big bases loaded double off the bench, along with Sho Taguchi. He did the same thing. Right. So everybody involved feels like they're a part of a victory. 2-0 the count on Luis Gonzalez. It's with that wide open stance. He said this stance changed his career. Kind of like what it did for Andres Galarraga, with 2 eyes seeing and being able to face the pitcher instead of being closed up. Pops this one up. Eckstein for out number 2. And the batter will be Sean Green. And Brad Thompson, such an interesting story, almost set the all-time scoreless inning streak in the minor leagues while with the Tennessee Smokies. Grew up in Vegas, used to go to Greg Maddox's camp during the winter months. That was his idol growing up. And he's moved into a role that he enjoys, which is out of the bullpen, a chance to come to the ballpark every day and be a part of a game instead of waiting every 5th day as a starter, which is what he did in the minor leagues. And he just does this time and again, comes in pumping strikes. Throws strikes, very unassuming. You know, he just wide-eyed, just trying to soak up all the information he can, but he's got a good idea and feel for the game. On 0-2, that ball is smoked into center, and it is off the top of the wall. So Green almost picked up his 15th home run, and that would have been his 50th RBI. Instead, it's just a double, no damage done yet. 3 hits for Sean today. And boy, you really got to Potter one if you're talking about center field, where it's got to be over the yellow line. and just below it. And you're talking about, well, 410, 12 feet, and then 28 feet up there above that line where the wall is.
Similar to what we saw with Larry Walker earlier in this game. First pitch misses outside to Troy Glaus. Now we understand if it hits that yellow line, then it's a home run. We have seen that before in this ballpark. And the ball gets away from Molina, but Green goes nowhere. 2-0. I thought a much needed day of rest for Molina this past weekend in St. Louis. Einar Diaz got to start. Guy's been a workhorse.
Yes, he has. But it's the way he likes it. Stays prepared and stays ready to play, so he's out there. He has caught 36 of the last 39 games behind the plate. He's started. And just about every one of those he starts and finish.
2-2. And that's where a manager has to step in, and he's got to be the guy with the sense in that he's got to go to that player and say it's in your best interest to sit. It's 100 degrees out there. You've been playing every single inning of every single game. I know you're only 22, but it's time to sit. That one backed up and just missed inside. Full count on the Diamondbacks third baseman Troy Glaus. That one is smoked. Home run, Troy Glaus, a 2-run shot. 18th home run. And now he is over 50 RBIs for the season. He's got 3 today. And 51 on the year.
Home runs and RBIs lead his team now. 200th career home run for Troy Glaus, so a milestone, and he'll never forget Brad Thompson. Never forget this pitch. Look at that ball just taking off, come right back into him, but instead of diving down, it stayed flat in the plane.
Jose Cruz Jr. after home run number 200 of his career. Troy Glaus. Well, he's got some power, doesn't he?
Yep.
Going to get a chance to really see him in the American League day in and day out, but now playing in the National League, get a little bit of an idea of the power that he possesses.
And he had that shoulder surgery last year, so good to see him come back and come back with all of his power. World Series MVP 2002. 3-time All-Star for Glaus. Not this year.
1-2 on Jose Cruz Jr. That's hit into right field. Over to get it, Hector Luna. So after Brad Thompson got the first 2 on a pop out and a ground out, we've seen a double, a home run, and now a single. 3 consecutive hits and activity in that Cardinal bullpen.
It's like Cal Eldred is throwing there, but Dave Duncan's going to come out and pay a visit. Not a save situation, and I doubt that it'll get to one before the 9th inning, but probably need to have some work for Isringhausen.
At some point you do. You're right, Al, and we talked about it, the fact that he hasn't pitched since Tuesday. That was when he picked up save number 22. So Cal Eldred throwing in the bullpen. Left-hander throwing for Arizona in their bullpen, and now it's Royce Clayton. A 9-3 Cardinals lead. Chicago has moved to the 5th with their game with the Braves, and it's 3-0 Atlanta. First pitch, a strike from Brad Thompson to Royce Clayton. 0 for 3. Pretty young battery here with Yadier Molina and Brad Thompson. Thompson 23, Molina just 22.
Age is a number. Slider down and away.
0-2 pitch. He got him. Strikeout for Thompson. Diamondbacks strand a man. Pitch today, and they lead it 9-3 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. And during our timeout there, we just got a shot of Will Clark, who just maybe went back to his office because he is working for the Diamondbacks as a special assistant to Jeff Morad, the former power agent. There's Will. And Jeff Morad is running the Diamondbacks. He's gone from being an agent to in the front office, negotiating contracts against his agent buddies.
And then you got Matt Williams is involved in a slight percentage of the ownership, and people feel they got a lot of Chiefs to run around here.
Little looper and a base hit for Scott Rowland. One pitch and a base hit. Scott Rowland, his second base hit, and John Mabry is going to try to go 5 for 5. Our Bud Light play of the game is his 4th hit, and Mabry has sprayed the ball all over the place. It's 4 hits and 4 singles. That's your Bud Light play of the game. Last 5-hit game, August 8th of 2004, Edgar Renteria against the New York Mets.
Could have made some money in Vegas if you would go up there and say John's going to go 5 for 5 today.
Average has jumped to 268. He has 4 home runs, and all those have come on the road. And he's got 2 RBIs now at 22 on the season. And for a while, it looked like Mabry was kind of lost. You might remember there was a game against Cincinnati. As you see that Bob Melvin was paying John Mabry the highest respect before the game. But John Mabry was a late insertion into the lineup against Cincinnati, and he looked terrible at the plate. It may have been one of those things where not that you shut down mentally, but he's prepared to be a reserve that night, and kind of went into a little bit of a funk. But as of late, he's been swinging the bat very well.
Exactly right. He had 4 strikeouts that night, and then it seemed like the next time it was 2 or 3, but not today. We got John back into a groove and doing what he normally does. He's batting just under 300 with 19 RBIs in his last 26 starts at 4 different positions.
3-2 is popped up, and that'll find the seats. A souvenir on the 4th of July. John, of course, elected to go down to the minor leagues at the beginning of last season. Tore the cover off the ball. He was hitting so well, then called up and was an important part of the puzzle last year for St. Louis. Made the club, of course, this year. And that youngster picks up a souvenir.
He knocked down 4 people to get to that ball.
Amazing. Sign him up. And it's the 5th time that Mabry has been on. So here's that foul ball. You can see the people just hitting the deck because that baby. Pretty happy, wouldn't you say?
Look at that. That's great. Dad didn't do anything to help me.
About this time last year, we were in Texas. We saw the one fan knock over kids to get to the ball.
Yes.
Slider misses upstairs.
Gotta get Grizzlonic going again a little bit. Did have a base hit today. Next time we got Roland solved.
1 ball, 1 strike with runners at first and second. And nobody out. 9-3 Cardinals. Jammed him. Only plays to go to first, so both runners advance to second and third. RBI opportunity for Molina. Molina is 1 for 4 with a single. Mets over Washington 5-2. Houston over San Diego 4-1. It was the Phillies beating Pittsburgh 12-1. Cincinnati over San Francisco in a wild game 11-10. Milwaukee beat Florida 3-2. And some clubs now, Al, are trying to figure out whether they're buyers or sellers at the midway point of the season. Still got a few weeks to figure it out.
Seems like there's some keep hope beyond hope.
The wild card changes everything.
Sure.
I mean, most teams that have a chance at that wild card certainly are out of the race for their division. Sean Green comes up gunning. Throw to the plate. Not there. What a slide by Scott Rowland. He's safe. Very good slide. So the sac fly. RBI for Molina. And Scott Rowland helping him out with a very good slide at the plate. 2 down, and it's now 10-3.
Looked like the throw pretty much beat him. Spun around like there, and very easy call. Good call by Jeff Nelson. Right there is just up the line a little bit, and then he spins back that way. Never got near the plate. Never touched Scott Rowland. 30 RBIs now for Molina.
The batter will be Einar Diaz. How about that? 30 RBIs for Molina. And back in late April, if you would have said he's on pace for 60, 65 RBIs and double figures in home runs, people would have thought you're crazy.
People were wondering if he's going to have 30 hits for the season.
Right. Diaz pops it up. The pitcher's going to have to take it. The Cardinals strand a man, and we move to the bottom of the ninth. St. Louis on top by the score of 10-3. 10-3, Cardinals on top behind 13 hits. Midwest Sports Report coming up. Let's check in with Pat Perez.
Thanks, guys. Coming up right after the game on MSR, reaction to tonight's game and your phone calls, plus the story of a minor leaguer who chose the military over baseball. That and more after the game. Now back to Dan and Al. Guys?
Matt Morris is in line for the victory this afternoon here in Arizona, which would be his 10th on the year. He'll improve to 10-1. The Cardinals will move to 22 games above 500. It's a lead of 10-3. And Cal Eldred comes into the ball game in a non-save situation.
Cal hasn't pitched since last Thursday, and I guess he doesn't want to come into this one apparently, as he hasn't pitched since Tuesday, so it'll be a week. As Cal will make a quick and efficient work of this ninth inning for the Diamondbacks. Alex Cintron. Let's take Scott Rowland off the field. Cintron's going to pinch hit.
Cintron is the base runner that ran into Scott Rowland in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Cardinals lost Rowland. It was then Miguel Cairo who would fill in, and he filled in very, very well, but it wasn't Scott Rowland. Hit 400, I believe, in that series against Arizona. 0-2 as Eldred blew it by him. Tony Clark has moved to the on-deck circle. Switch hitter. Cardinals have used Matt Morris for 7. Brad Thompson pitched the 8th. Backhanded play here by Grudzielanek. Tough chance. Pujols, yes sir. Albert with the pick over there at first. Nicely done by Grudzielanek. And Albert Pujols for the first out here in the ninth.
Just love the intensity of these Cardinal players here. Big lopsided game, 10-3. Very tough and difficult play right there, but a great effort by Grudzielanek. Gets there, trying to do everything he can, makes a strong throw in the vicinity, bounces it out there. Albert reaches down, scoops it up, and these guys, doesn't matter what the score is, they're going to play all-out baseball.
Very good play. Here's Tony Clark. Switch hitter, hitting .327.
In .458 as a pinch hitter this year, 11 for 24 with 3 home runs and 13 RBIs as a pinch hitter.
Many ways a bounce-back season for him. Just trying to hang on and find a team. He caught on with the Diamondbacks. He's also chipped in 12 home runs, 46 RBIs.
But you look at those numbers there, and I mean, you'd have to sit there and dangle him out there and see what you'd get in return.
Sure. That one is popped up. But Arizona is one of those teams, Al, that's trying to figure out exactly where they're at as far as trying to get into postseason play.
Tony's had 3, when he was in Detroit, he had 3 consecutive 30 home run seasons, 97 through 99, All-Star appearance in 2001.
Some very good years with Detroit.
You know, the thing is why they're trying to figure it out is because I think the West is not that strong. I think San Diego is the class of the division.
San Francisco without Bonds has been struggling.
Right.
They're thinking about maybe getting rid of Jason Schmidt.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about dangling him out there for some of the contenders. Of course, he hasn't pitched as well as has in the past either.
First strikeout for Cal Eldred, and the Cardinals are 1 out away from victory number 52. Now, he said something interesting. I think it applies to all these guys. It's 10-3, and the intensity which these guys play needs to be pointed out. But I mean, this is truly a team effort, day in and day out with this franchise, and the guys that they have plugged in around the nucleus of Rolen and Pujols and Edmonds. You bring in a guy like Abraham Nunez, John Mabry comes back. I mean, good character people that they have assembled.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of the 5th starter or 5 starters out there. It's one of the bullpen guys, and yet they play just like it was their ace on the mound.
Is there a play? Oh, runs out of room. Just out of room, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Charging in here, and that low railing as you reach over and kind of collapse on your rib cage. Does have that chest protector to provide a little padding.
Here's the 0-2. To Albert. Win number 52. Matt Morris is now 10-1 on the season. John Mabry on base 5 times as he goes 4 for 4. 10-3 our final from Arizona.
Now, your Midwest Sports Report, presented by Busch Light.
Well, happy 4th of July, and welcome inside our FSN studios for the Cardinals postgame edition of the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report. I'm Danny Potak.
And I'm Pat Paris. Right back to Phoenix for reaction in just a moment. But first, Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill wants you to know who's Hot Shots hot. And it's John Mabry in the second. Mabry singles to the right side off of Brandon Webb, scores Larry Walker to make it 1-0. In the third, Mabry rips the single to right field, scores Scott Rowland from second, makes it 4-zip. Mabry 4 for 4, all singles, 2 RBIs and a walk on the day. And that's why he is Hot Shots hot. And the entire lineup was pretty darn hot, and nobody really hotter than Matt Morris, now 10-1 on the season. And a terrific outing again today. Just one mistake cost him 1 run, but he goes 7 innings, allows you 6 hits and an earned run. So a number of candidates for hot shots, hot win with John Mabry.
And considering that he didn't walk anybody, we'll go ahead and let that mistake slide. And imagine if you're Tony La Russa. This guy's not going to the All-Star game. Again, I know you can't take everybody, but it's a guy on his own team who's got 10 wins. He could get 11. He'll have one more start before the break in Detroit next week. So very interesting to see the fact that he's performing as well as he has. All right, So Taguchi delivered tonight's Taco Bell Crunchwrap crunching blow. Top of the 8th, bases loaded, 1 out. Taguchi has a double down the left field line off of Javier Lopez. Goes all the way to the corner, scoring Yadier Molina and Abraham Nunez, makes it 9-1. Taguchi pinch hitting, oh, by the way, for Jim Edmonds. Comes through big time for the Redbirds. The Crunchwrap is now available at Taco Bell.
John Mabry, 4 for 4 on base 5 times. You're facing a very good sinker baller in Webb. What's the approach when you're facing a guy like him?
Just try to stay through it, try to stay up the middle, try to let the ball get to you, get deep, and you know, don't do too much with it. You just try to take the base hits, and if you try to get big, you'll roll over, hit balls back to him. So just try to stay through the balls and hit them up the middle.
Starts have been few and far between for you. Is it tough to get in a groove like that?
Oh yeah, that's, you know, but that's the nature of the business. As a bench player, you just want to try to keep your rhythm somehow, keep doing your work, stay ready. When you get the call, you try to help.
How about Matt Morris tonight doing what he's been doing all season?
Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate right now he's not on the All-Star team because he's been one of the best starters in the league. So, you know, hopefully he can slip in the back door here with some voting or something because he deserves it.
John, thanks for the time.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, let's go to you.
All right, John and Jim, thank you. Hey, John Mabry, he's a guy that when he gets a chance, he produces, and he's done it here again today. He goes 4 for 4. He also walks, so on base 5 times this afternoon.
Tony La Russa was not that much time in the big leagues, so he knows all about how to protect bench players and give them plenty of swings to try and keep them sharp. And this was a start for John, and boy, he made the most of his first 2 times. He got singles and RBIs, goes on to get a 3rd hit, and then a 4th hit, and then the 5th time we were hoping he was going to get a number 5, the first time since Edgar, but he was walked that time, so on base 5 times.
Batting average up to 268 for John Mabry. Now, on the other side of things, you look at the pitching performance of Matt Morris, and yeah, it is a little disappointing. He won't be an All-Star this year, but his record goes to 10-1, and I think people would be surprised at the beginning of the season to say, all right, at the All-Star break, Matt Morris is going to have 10 wins.
Well, I think so, and probably the one guy that wasn't surprised was Matt Morris. He felt like he was going to be having a big year. He felt healthy once he had the surgery, and he's come out here and pitched like he has in the past. So, sure, it's disappointing he doesn't make the All-Star team, but more importantly, he's a mainstay on this rotation, and he's doing his job for his teammates.
Well, we hope you've had a great 4th of July. It was a fun afternoon of baseballs. The Cardinals wrapped it up by the score of 10-3. For Al and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Let's send it back.
Some young Redbird fans spending some time on the 4th of July taking in the game. Top of the 2nd, no score. Larry Walker looking to create some fireworks of his own. Crushes the Brandon Webb pitch deep center just below the yellow line, so that's a double leading things off. 2 batters later, John Mabry grounds a single through the infield. Walker scores from 3rd, and it's 1-0 Cards. Bottom of the 2nd, after allowing a leadoff double to Sean Green, Matt Morris facing Troy Glass, and he hammers one down the left field line, and it hooks and hooks and hooks foul. Lost just a few feet away from giving Arizona the lead. Instead, 2 pitches later, can't check a swing. That's strike 3. Morris would get out of the inning without any damage done. Top of the 3rd, 2-on for Scott Rowland. He drills it to center over the head of center fielder Jose Cruz Jr. Albert Pujols, Larry Walker both score. RBI double for Rowland. Cards take 3-0 lead. Next batter, John Mabry. He lines a single to right. Rowland hustles around, scores easily from 2nd. The Redbirds go on top 4-zip. Bottom of the 6th, Cards leading 4-1. 2 on, 2 out. Matt Morris cruising along, strikes out Jose Cruz Jr. swinging to end the inning. Cruz says something to Morris. Morris takes a little bit of offense to it. Benches think about clearing, start to a little bit, but cooler heads prevail, and the game continues. Top of the 8th, Cards up 5-1. They add some insurance. Bases loaded, 1 out for pinch hitter Abraham Nunez. What a season he's having. Nunez slaps a double to the gap in left center. Scott Rowland trots home. Mabry scores, and the Cards now have a 7-1 lead. 2 batters later, after a David Eckstein walk, so Taguchi lines a double down the left field line. Yadier Molina scores. Nunez comes home as well. Cards poured on with 4 in the 8th and they blow this thing wide open. They go on to win by the final of 10-3. Dan, an offensive display and pretty darn good pitching from one Matt Morris.
Yeah, a close look at the lineup shows John Mabry with 4 hits. Scott Rowland, a lot of people, at least around the country, feel that Scott Rowland maybe not completely deserving of a nod to the All-Star game because he's been hurt. Well, all right, he's making up for it slowly. 2 for 4, 3 runs scored, a couple RBIs. That's all good and fine. But as a whole, 13 hits and 10 runs, some things that you did not know about. The Cardinals are now 6-0 on the 4th of July this decade. In day games this season, they're over 500. They were 15-15 coming in. They've now won 3 in a row. They're 16-15 and starting to play really good baseball. Matt Morris, again, 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, and no walks. He looked extremely good. Brad Thompson, maybe not so good in relief.
Aggressive. They got a good lineup over there, a lot of dangerous bats, especially in the middle of it. So tried to keep the ball down was the main concern. They're all, just like everybody in the league, likes the ball up, whether it's a breaking ball or a fastball. So tried to concentrate on strike one and keeping the ball down.
The way you're pitching, you get enough runs early, too, so that's another problem, to stay focused and get those strikes after that.
Yeah, you know, anytime you get runs, you want to make them hold up, whether it's 1 or 2. And I know Webb's been throwing the ball well. He's got a great sinker, keeps the ball down. He's tough to score off of. So we got to run early and a couple more after that, and you know, things opened up later on.
What was the thing with Cruz?
Oh, nothing with Cruz. We're just protecting against, you know, maybe giving signs away from second base. You know, Green's a smart player, great player, and very intelligent. So we're just trying to protect pitches. It's hard enough to get guys out. So, you know, if they know it's coming, it's you know, not that they were, but we're just trying to protect against what's going on. No, not at all. I'm happy to take 4 days off.
But, you know, your numbers are certainly qualified. Does that ever come to play that you say, hey, look what I'm doing, and the next game they prove to you that I can pitch well? I mean, not that
Prove
Tony
to you
doesn't
that
know,
I can pitch what?
not that Tony doesn't know what you're capable of, but the fact that, you know, your numbers show that you should be, or could be easily there.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to take each game and you know, I get the opportunity to go out there and win a ball game, and that's what I try to do. I don't, you know, to think about the All-Star game and I should be on it or shouldn't. That's not my concern. I'm beyond that. So we got a bunch of representatives from this team, and they all deserve it. Like I said,